Hi everyone, I'm Candace with Eclectic Coach, and I'm so excited to be doing this reading with you. It's an interesting kind of format that I just kind of thought of this morning, and I thought, oh, that'd be so fun. So if you like it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, I do personal coaching for course completion coaching. If you've signed up for an online course and would like to use it as a framework towards reaching a goal or improving on a project, I'd love to work with you. And I also do intuitive transformational coaching where we utilize your own intuitive guidance system to map out your life and the things that you're most passionate about. Sometimes there's some overlap between the two types of coaching. Also, I'm going to be creating my own deck of oracle cards called Pearls of Wisdom, so keep your eye out for that. I'm going to be posting about it on Patreon, and as soon as I get that up and going, I will post the link below. It might take a little bit, and so this new process that I'm going to be doing is where we're going to kind of do this intuitively together, because what can kind of happen is you can start doing a lot of different pick a card readings, and then all this information, this subtle information, kind of blurs together and it doesn't become as useful. But if you can process it through your own intuitive guidance system and your own intuitive processes, then it's kind of grounded in your life and you're able to utilize it more because it's more tangible and functional. So I'm going to be using what's called this inner child card deck, a fairy tale tarot, and it's by Isha Lerner and Mark Lerner, and it's illustrated by Christopher Golifoil. And I think I'm going to be getting an Amazon link to this deck if you're interested here soon. But yeah, check this out, because we grow up with all these different fairy tales in these stories, and there's these deep archetypal images and messages that come through the art and the story that we've heard since we were little. And that's, what many cultures have done for generation upon generation, is pass information down through an internal verbal lineage. Around campfires and things like that. We tell stories. So we are designed to process story and understand story and meaning and metaphor and archetypes. And this can really help you navigate your creative process, because this is about your next creative project that's really intertwined with your inner child and like what you love doing and what brings you happiness and joy. So what I did is simply just chose 2 cards by staring at each particular pile or piece, actually, and I just drew from this one deck. And so what I want you to do is breathe in and place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on the top of your head, and breathe in fully and exhale. And as you do, take a look at the piece and see which one you're most drawn to. And then I'm going to go through and read the pile that piece represents. And what I want you to do is to tune into your different psychic reception points. There's this awesome book called You Are Psychic. And what you want to do is focus on these different points and places on your head, or between, right in between your eyes. So right above your brow, almost in the middle of your forehead, if you are a highly visual person. So as I'm reading this to you, become aware of your sense perceptions and what's coming in. You may want to close your eyes. You may want to get into a comfortable position. But what we want to do is really engage the body to help you intuit the information. Because we want to have that nice middle path. And then as I go through and read it, tune into that spot for your third eye if you're a highly visual person and you kind of need to see how things are going to fit together and move around. If you are a very analytical person, understand a lot of theoretical concepts, and you just learn a lot by listening. Maybe you listen to a lot of podcasts or books on audio. Focus right above your ears, I believe it's where your temporal lobes are. And then if you're a highly sensitive person, physically, and you get strong gut feelings, or you can get feeling very overwhelmed with like too much information and pointing, people, and they're talking and things like that, and you tend to be very physically oriented in your environment. Sometimes maybe I've noticed that people who have this clairsentient can become very overwhelmed by people. Sometimes they are prone to emotional eating as a way to insulate themselves from psychological and physical stress. So if that's your reception point, focus like right around your solar plexus and your stomach area. And also just be aware of whatever sensations happen around you. And if you are kind of a claircognizant person and you just think about things, just place some awareness like around your head, maybe the crown of your head. And it's kind of hard to describe, but think up. And so I'm just going to read to you from the text directly. And I just want you to tune into these reception areas and see what is coming to you and what images, what sensations, what perceptions you're getting related to your next creative project. So stay tuned and we'll jump into piece and pile number 1. Thanks. So, piece and pile number 1. Just listen to this reading about this particular card and just become aware of what is presenting itself to you and how this relates to areas of your life that you're excited about. You want to put energy, attention, focus, and you really want to create something. And just tune into that. I'm going to get some water here. Also, I try very hard to keep everything, quiet, but if different sounds come through, sometimes that's just a part of the reading, and, we all just got to kind of roll with it. And that's kind of like life, things present itself or themselves in our environment, and sometimes they're not always convenient, and that's kind of how this works. So consider the messages that they might have for you and the thoughts that you're thinking. Be aware of the subtlety of the information. Okay, so in the mysterious and magical realm of spiritual life, there are said to be 9 levels of immortal beings who encircle the Creator and offer guidance and protection to humanity and the many worlds of nature. The ancient names for these beings are seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, virtues, powers, principalities, archangels, and angels. The 4 archangels are called Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, and Uriel. Gabriel, pictured on this card, is the Archangel of Providence, who watches over humanity and offers direction and care to each struggling soul on earth. When you need nurturance and protection, a guardian angel under the auspices of Raphael will comfort you. When you need divine wisdom to take the right fork in the road of life, an element of Raphael's towering presence can fill your heart and mind. The name Raphael actually means God heals, and the first two letters Ra are reminiscent of the Egyptian name for the sun god Ra, and this archangel is said to rule Sundays and can be understood more fully through various heart meditations. Through the centuries, this exalted being has been painted escorting young man and his dog, reminding us of the guidance offered to Dorothy and Toto in The Seeker of Wands. The archangel is also a guardian to all travelers and people on religious and spiritual pilgrimages. Thus, he is often depicted with a staff and sandals. The inner child cards in his hands are shown blessings the earth, while a beautiful magic wand of soothing green forms his enormous wings. Raphael rules over the springtime and reveals his greatest gifts when the sun is passing through fiery Aries in March and April, while the earth, which is in opposition to the sun, moves through the harmonious vibrations of Libra. When Raphael appears in your cards, you are being blessed with the presence of divine healing. Recognize the sensitive power in your hands that can rekindle strength in friends and family members. Send prayers and uplifting thoughts into the minds and hearts of human beings around the world. Visualize a stream of golden love emanating from the sun, entering your heart chakra and radiating out to your companions on the path of life. Travel with confidence, make new friends, cultivate your faith, and express your compassion for all living things. So that was the first card. And let's see. And the next one is the Seeker of Swords. Again, use the same process of becoming aware of the subtle imagery and sounds and everything that's coming through related to your creative project and your inner child. Okay, both Pinocchio and the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow are not fully human, but they are created by humans. They are striving to develop the power to think for themselves. As the Scarecrow introduces himself, he is completely lacking in direction and says, "I can't even scare a crow." Later on, he moves along the yellow brick road. The Scarecrow becomes quite resourceful and clever. It appears that the journey or quest itself educates the Scarecrow, drawing out his knowledge. When he meets with the wizard, the Scarecrow realizes his own wit and intelligence are fully present. When Dorothy is ready to go home, she turns to her beloved Man of Straw and says, "Scarecrow, I miss you the most." This suggests the dignity and importance of intellect and clear thinking. In the Seeker of Swords, the two swords represent the lack of purpose, mental conflict, and dualistic thought that will eventually be harmonized. The sunflower signifies the potential to fill one's destiny, to rise up all humility and bow down before the radiance of the life-giving sun. The Scarecrow himself is portrayed as a giant sunflower trying to cultivate the will, power, and clarity of thought he will eventually find while learning life's lessons on the yellow brick road. The Scarecrow has an innocence and a naivete about him. His carefree and spontaneous nature reminds us of the fool or court jester until he realizes his task is to outwit the Wicked Witch and help Dorothy on her mission. At that point, he is ready to utilize his mind in service to the greater whole. He grows away from selfishness and toward dedication to his companions. The Scarecrow's brain changes from a seed of personal enlightenment into a flower of divine compassion. When the Scarecrow appears in your cards, feel more abundant, feel more confident about your mental abilities. If necessary, build your vocabulary, read the dictionary, learn a new language, or study the literary classics. Take a positive step to enrich your intellectual universe. Avoid hesitation and indecision. Golden opportunities are always available for the person with foresight and wisdom. So I hope that gave you some clarity, some insight into your next creative project. Just be aware of the signs and the symbols that came through for you in whatever way they showed up, and thank the angels for them. And just remember that you got to invite the archangels in, because they can't bypass our free will, so we have to ask for their support. And I hope that that was helpful. Okay, so if you were drawn to piece and pile number 2, your 2 cards are going to be the Guardian of Swords and the Six of Wands. So what I'd like you to do is just take a big deep breath and put your left hand on your heart and your right hand on the top of your head, and just tune in and become aware of the sensations as they present themselves, any sounds, any images, depending on which intuitive channel you use to navigate. And just listen as I read this and see if anything resonates with you, or if you connect with any of the metaphors. Okay, so the Guardian of Swords, Michael. The Archangel Michael has always been considered the captain of Christ's armies, the commander of the heavenly hosts. He was almost certainly the angel with the drawn sword who appeared to Joshua before the battle of Jericho, when the trumpets were sounded and the walls came tumbling down and the sun stood still. In Revelation, he was said to lead thousands of angels with his flaming sword into the apocalyptic battle against the ancient dragon representing Satan, the fallen angels and demons. Michael is the celestial personification of spiritual might and willpower. If you need to protect your mind from negative thoughts and confusions, a prayer to Michael will comfort you and clear your mind. When it's time to summon extra courage to face an important decision in your life, the overlighting guidance of Michael will illuminate the path of truth for you to follow. The name Michael actually means "who is like God." He is the archangel who has charge over the Roman Catholic Church. While Michael provided divine inspiration to thousands of soldiers, knights, and warriors throughout the ages, he is not responsible for the evil deeds and excesses that are committed by men of free will in times of war and conflict. Michael attempts to instill in humanity the sense of God's awesome creative power to manifest goodwill on the earth. His greatest strength is felt when the sun travels through Libra in September and October, while the earth is in opposition to the sun and is passing through fiery Aries. In this card, the armored Michael reveals his towering presence over our planet. The sword of truth, mental clarity, and goodwill is offered in friendship. This card also reminds us of the way of the cross, the pain and suffering we must bear throughout many lifetimes as we serve our friends and companions. The red rose suggests the eventual flowering of humanity and the mystic fellowship of planetary warriors who have sworn eternal allegiance to the Christ of universal love. When Michael makes his presence known to you, you may be weary from one of life's many battles. Rekindle your passion to live according to the highest truth possible. The spirit of honesty and righteousness is upon you. Remember Jesus' words in the Garden of Gethsemane. I don't know how to pronounce that. Shortly before his crucifixion. Not my will, but thy will be done. During a contemplative interlude, your own faith and belief in higher powers can be restored. Walk the path of life with humility, confidence, and a heart of gold and noble intentions. And so the next one was the Six of Wands. Okay, almost there. So just become aware of what images presented themselves to you. anything that resonated with you, any sensations in your body, maybe like goosebumps as you heard a part of that. Or you may want to optimize or maximize your screen and see if any of the visual images on the cards, because it's such a beautiful deck, resonate with you. So the Six of Wands. And think about how this is relating to a specific creative project that you may be interested in or that you are inquiring about, because this is related to not only your inner child, but your creative projects. So the Six of Wands. May Day marks the time of the year when the earth is adorned with her green cloak that is beautifully accented with the flowers of springtime. The presiding deity of the season is the goddess Flora, also known as the Maiden. The maypole was traditionally set up the evening the day before May Day. The significance of the maypole dance was to honor the fertile season of spring. The dance, which spiraled around the pole with ribbons and flowers, was an acknowledgement of the sacred womb of humanity. It was seen as the ultimate gratitude to Mother Nature. Old rituals like the maypole dance, Japanese tea ceremonies, and St. Nicholas Day have become trivialized in Western culture. These rites of passage or honorary times are meant to be harbingers of unity and to strengthen the well-being of the community. They also serve to expand global consciousness and cross-cultural awareness. The fairy maidens in this card are bringing forth their song and dance to usher in not only spring, but the fertility of their creative powers. They are honoring the apex of this jubilant new consciousness that is blossoming before them. This is a time to express your passionate side and to realize that you are a vital part of the continually moving circle of life. So I hope that was helpful and that gave you some insight into your next creative project. Okay, so for those of you who picked piece number 3, I just want you to place your hand quickly over your heart and one over your crown chakra and take in a deep, full cleansing breath. Consider the things that you're passionate about, interested in, and really connect your intuition with your physical body. Feel the inner body and become aware of the subtle impressions that you experience. Any images that present themselves to you, any sounds that come up from your environment or from my end that really ring true or that kind of seem like they're a part of the reading are all a part of the messages that you're supposed to receive. I try to keep it quiet, but sometimes alarms go off or things like that and it's relevant to the reading. And yeah, just listen to the text and see what is coming through for you related to your inner child and your next creative project, and just feel for the intuitive messages that you're receiving. So we start off with the Two of Hearts, and it says sacred union and attraction in the feeling realm are personified by the mermaid and merman in this card. A rainbow connects and balances them. Two dolphins representing the intelligence of the universe leap over the rainbow in unison and joy. According to classical myth, the dolphin was placed among the stars as the constellation of Delphinius because it played a role of matchmaker in merging the sea goddess Aphrodite with Poseidon. This card can symbolize either two people sharing love or two aspects of a person striving for unity and wholeness. Therefore, marriage in all of its forms is associated with this card. It is from this place of divine union that we encounter balance and integrity in the polarity of the sexes. Two in any suit attracts the potential to regulate duality. You may be sharing your heart with another at this time, one whom you feel to be your beloved mate. The spiritual partner could be an actual lover, a friend, or a higher awakening. As you meditate on the deeper meaning of this card, remember that your own heart can be a rainbow bridge of living color and light, linking you to the source of the divine child within and helping you heal old wounds in the heart of a loved one. And I just feel intuitively guided to mention, even though I haven't done any extra mentionings in these videos because I wanted to keep them short, I'm just really feeling related to this card that it can also relate to balancing the creative aspect with the intellectual, linear thinking that is required for success in a project. Okay, so your next card, again, remember to really tune in and see what's coming through for you, is Four of Hearts. Sunken treasures, lost hopes, broken hearts, and tearful goodbyes are all aspects of the emotional journey one must encounter in life. Through these times that are painful, they are ever-transforming tides of hope within them. A broken heart is an open heart when we are willing to allow deep emotions to flow. There is invariably a gift of love on the other side. Sorrow brings the tidings of joy. This is the bittersweet aspect of love. The gentle mermaid in this card has lost her hope. The boat she was guiding during the storm has sunk, and her winged heart locket is broken. In time, she will look up and see her three friends riding on dolphins, coming to her rescue. What seems lost will be regained as she reconstructs and discovers a new foundation of faith and hope in herself and in life. Often we cannot see the forest for the trees. Treasures that lie before us cannot be found until we are able to discover them. This card may be describing an emotional situation for you. Allow yourself the time to feel these emotions. Honor your prospects of introspection. With faith and hope, a new revelation will gently come forth to heal your broken heart. Becoming one with your feelings is a crucial step on the path of life. So see where that rings true for you and how that's resonating for you, related to your inner child and your upcoming project. I hope that was helpful. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Keep your eye out for my upcoming deck on Patreon. And this is a timeless reading. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so for those of you who chose piece number 4, related to your upcoming creative project, think about how this is relating to an area of your life that you are potentially interested in, maybe something that you want to explore, something that's well underway, something that you would like some clarity or aspects kind of refined and clarified for you. Whatever is related to your creative project. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the description directly from the book, and you may wish to maximize the screen and look at the images, or you may want to close your eyes. What I've been having people do in each of the pieces is to place their left hand on their heart and their right hand on the crown of their head, and take a big deep cleansing breath in, and just really centering in your body so that you can process that subtle information and really ground it into something useful in your life. And as I read this, just pay attention to any sensations that come through, any images that it provokes, and how that might be related to your inner child and experiencing more joy and creativity in your upcoming project. So, your first card is 5 of crystals. In this card, a wise grandpa gnome is placing the final touches on the sacred mandala perched at the top of the treehouse. There are 2 aspects to the mandala's design, a pentacle and golden circles. The circles and the star together in one pattern indicate the union of earth and heaven. The 5 points of the star represent birth, initiation, service, rest, and transformation. This symbol is used as a beautiful emblem or stained glass motif for a home because it represents the evolution of humanity and its protective shield. Grandpa Gnome whistles a happy tune for he has manifested a vision of beauty. The apples on the tree are ripe, revealing the fruition of a task well done. The birds convey the rewards of spiritual freedom that come from a well-constructed life. Fully embrace the gifts offered in this card. Remember to pick up the right potential that life reveals to you at this time. Let them manifest creativity at the core of your existence. You might like to explore stained glass work, pottery, woodworking, sewing, or other handcrafts as a new hobby. Or maybe all of the above. As you pursue creative outlets, stay in touch with the wonders of the earth and all of its heavenly beauty. Just something that came through is maybe for those of you who picked this particular piece, something tangible that you can really work with your hands might be coming through. Or it could also be metaphorical for getting your hands in it. And the next one is the 7 of crystals. And it says, the lighting of the candle is a symbolic gesture. It represents a time to usher in the illumination of the soul. The winter solstice is a sacred turning point of the year, often occurring close to the Hebrew festival of lights, known as Hanukkah. At the solstice, there is a prayer. I just wasn't sure what that word was. At the solstice, there is a prayer and celebration honoring the sun's rebirth and in the new dawning of the higher self. At this time, one can move away from isolation or darkness, where spiritual seeds are sown toward light and unity, where flowers of wisdom can blossom. The young gnome girl in this card is creating a sanctuary for herself, a place where she can go within and seek inner guidance, clarity, peace, and vision. She is experiencing a period of contemplation in which she can reach into the depths of her personal knowledge in order to weave truths and wisdom into light. Inner transformation is represented by the rainbow carpet on which she kneels. The 7 candles are like the menorah. They symbolize lamps or guides that help illuminate the process. At the time of waiting or rest is offered to you. Let these candle lights reflect the brilliance of your inner journey. Find your own attunement and trust that all is well. Patience is a cardinal virtue. This may be a time to pause or a phase when you are rebuilding strength for your next adventure or awareness in life. Be still and let the inner truth be revealed. So I hope this was helpful. And, sometimes people jot down the notes that they received, but it's just really helpful sometimes to ground this into our own intuitive filtration system, through our own physical experience, and that helps us create something more tangible energetically that we can really work with. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon.